How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Positive Mindset Podcast, where we come together to raise our vibration, lift our perspective, and build that positive mindset. My name is Henry, and I'm so thankful to have each and every one of you here today because in this episode, we're going to talk about how to unblock your future. If you are stuck, if you're going against obstacles and you can't seem to make that next step into your positive self, in this episode, we're going to talk about how to free and expand into the life that you desire. But before we get started, we're going to take a few moments to slow down, zero in. We're going to take some deep, healing, meditative breaths to help us align on the frequency that we want in our lives. So you can pick a word. It can be love, joy, happiness, abundance, whatever frequency you want. And we're going to take a deep breath in. And as you're breathing in, you're going to say this word over and over and over again. Really charge yourself up with that energy. And then as you're holding your breath, visualize yourself doing something in that frequency. And once you exhale, anything that no longer resonates with you will leave you and you'll be in a more positive state. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath in. And out. We're going to take another deep breath. This one's about alignment, about getting ourselves in receiving mode so that we can receive the message that we need to hear to get us in that positive state. So just imagine that you are surrounded by the most healing, uplifting energy that's meant specifically for you. It could have a certain color, a certain taste, a certain smell, however you imagine it. And when you breathe it in, it's going to charge up. It's going to break down the negativity, the blocks, the weight, everything that's just been holding you back. And once you exhale, anything that no longer resonates with you will leave you and you'll be in a more positive state. So let's go ahead and take another deep breath in. And out. Well, before we get started, if there's something that resonates with you in this episode, something that moves you, something that inspires you, if you're on Spotify or YouTube, you can actually leave a comment below. Not only do those comments help me know what you resonate with, but somebody else might read that comment and it might inspire them to give this episode a listen. I want to make this the #1 mindset podcast in the world, and the best way to do that is together. So whether you leave a comment or share it with somebody, it means the absolute world to me, and I could never thank you enough. But let's dive in to today's episode. So life is full of obstacles. There's hard things in front of us. There's hard things in the past. This life is one giant opportunity for growth. You see, when you break through a barrier, you expand. That's how expansion happens. It has to go through something to become something. But a lot of times we look at the external barriers and those actually aren't what's holding us back. It's the internal barriers that are limiting ourselves. We can't be greater than we believe we can. We can't do more than we believe we can. We can't exceed more than we allow ourselves to exceed. You see, if you have a problem saying how much money you deserve, like if you want to say, I am a millionaire, I receive millions of dollars a year, and you have a problem saying that to people, then you have a problem receiving it. There's a belief system within you that's limiting that. If you have a problem saying, I am healthy and I make healthy decisions to people, then you have a barrier within you that's blocking it. You see, the world is not as it is, so the external barriers cannot be as they are. The world is as you are. So if the world is as you are, the external limitations that you see in the world are really just your perception of the experience. If you change your perception, things that look like obstacles, things that look like hurdles, things that look difficult shift because your perspective shifts. Your perspective is everything. Your perspective will set you free. You control your perspective by leveling up within. So what is it that you're struggling with? What is it that's not allowing you to experience life? It's your frequency. If you want to learn how to change your frequency, there's a very simple place to start. Your self-talk. That's why I asked you, what are you comfortable saying out loud to others? What you say out loud is a smaller version of what you're saying in your mind. We don't talk to lift ourselves up in our mind. If you did, you probably wouldn't be tuning into this podcast because you would be in your higher energy. But you're on the course, you're looking, you're on the quest, you're trying to find. It's all within. Create dialogue in your mind that specifically will lift you up, will specifically encourage you to be the higher version of self. As you continue to do that, your perspective changes. You see, it seems like the world changes, but it doesn't. The world as it is. The world that I experience is different than the world that you experience. Our unique perspectives create the reality. I've used this example before, and it's a powerful one. It's a bit extreme, but I think it gets the point across. Imagine that you and your best friend or somebody are going to the movies. And imagine that I'm your coach and I'm their coach. I work with both of you, so I have access to both of you. You're on your way to the movies. I call you up and I say, I'm not working with you anymore. You're constantly negative. You're constantly bringing it down. You are not doing anything to uplift yourself. You are a pain. You are not uplifting. You are a weight to the world, and I don't want to work with you anymore. I'm cutting you off. So imagine if I called you and said that right before the movie. But then I called your friend, and you didn't know that I did this. Neither one of you knew that I called either one of you. I called your friend, and I said, thank you so much for working with me. I appreciate it. Every moment I spend with you, I feel uplifted. There's so much insight in your journey. Every second of yours is so valuable to me. I thank you so much. I can't wait to talk to you again. We're going to do so many great things together. So imagine from the same source, from me in this scenario, to you and to your friend, and then you go watch this movie. Do you think you're going to take away the same thing from the movie as your friend? No, because your perspective has shifted. You see, you were in a lower frequency because I said some hurtful things. Well, me saying those will have some weight, but your internal dialogue has much more. If your internal dialogue is not like the second version and it's like the first version, then you are pulling your perspective down. So you're only able to see the world through lower frequency lens. You see all the negative. It's the first thing you see. You see all the hurt. It's the first thing you feel. That's how it goes when you operate in that low feeling. When you raise your perspective, when you turn your self-talk like the second person in message, when you turn your self-talk to that, you raise your frequency. When you raise your frequency, the first thing you see in the world is higher frequency. So your perception is your reception. So if that's the first thing you see, then that's the first thing you receive. Just as if you're operating in the lower frequency, the first thing you see is the first thing you receive. Remember, your perception is your reception. So lift yourself up so you can perceive the high. You can perceive the love. You can perceive the distance. You can perceive beyond ego because you see beyond the current moment, how it currently affects you, how it has to do with you because it's not about you. You are just part of the experience. You are not the experience. You are the observer of the experience. You are the creator of it, but you're not a victim of it. Your perception matters. So all the obstacles, all the things in front of you are internal. It may be something external, but your perception of it is becoming the limiting factor, not it. It is not what's stopping you. The barrier is not what's stopping you. It's your perception of the barrier. You are making the mountain too big to climb. Yes, it's a mountain, but if your perception was higher up, you would see the top and you know that you could make it. You would see the other side. You would see how other people did it before. You would see the path forward. So stop giving weight. Stop giving strength to the external. Turn it in. Wherever you point the finger gets the power. So point the finger at your heart. Point the finger at your mind, at your spirit, at your soul, and give yourself the power to lift you up. If you want to be able to conquer anything, you have to be able to uplift yourself. If you want to be able to see past anything, you have to be able to uplift yourself. It's all within. The journey is always inward. You go inward, you'll experience outwardly. Because your perception is your reception. Your perception is based on your frequency, so level up your frequency so that you can see the world that you desire. If you can see the world that you desire, you'll experience the world that you desire. This isn't about being easy. It's not about being simple. It's not about being hard. It's not about right or wrong. It's just reality. Your perception is your reception. Do you want to be right and stay in the pain? Or are you willing to expand your mind and realize that you have more power in this situation, that it's not just somebody else's fault? Because if you just say it's their fault, if it's just their creation, if they're the ones doing all the wrongdoing and you're just the poor victim, you're saying you don't have the power. If you don't have the power, you can't change anything. But if you say, okay, you know what? Maybe they did do these things. Maybe these things are happening to me. Maybe this is a terrible situation, but I get to choose what frequency I tap into. I have the ability to make the most out of any situation. I am the creator of my experience. I am the powerful one. It's all within me. If you start taking that dialogue, if you start talking like that within, you will make the shift. You will expand, and you absolutely will become the rising tide that lifts all ships. Well, thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode was impactful and gave you a positive perspective on how to take your power back. If you want to make sure you don't miss a single episode, make sure you subscribe to my email list. There's a link down below. It will keep you up to date with every single episode. And if you want to follow me on social media, there's my Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook group all down below. So I appreciate all follows there. And if you want to level up, if you listen to this episode and you know it's time to make the shift, this is what I do. I'm a mindset coach. I help people tap into their highest energy. If you want more information on it, you can reach out to me via Instagram. There's a link down below. Also, if you fill that out, I will get back to you as soon as I have more availability. Now is the time. I'm currently full, but I don't know when you're hearing this message. I might have more availability. If you want more information or if you just want to chat, shoot me the message on Instagram. I'd love to connect with you. Well, thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, and I can't wait to talk to you next time.